Hey, 5th grade, I'm so excited about today. I can't wait to see what you come up with on your sugar skull idea. So last week we cut it out. So we talked about symmetry, we cut out our design, and we opened it up and we drew our design on here. So it's all good to go. You should be just coloring today. Some of you probably went ahead and glued it onto a background. That was fine. If you haven't, don't glue it down till we're done today. So I don't want you gluing right now because it may mess with your colors. Just as a background option, I did realize you could use this thicker mixed media paper. We did the marker and then we wet it. Just like on the hand assignment, kind of gives it a cool watercolor effect, which I thought looks really cool on behind my skull. Or you could just stick with the marker on regular printer paper, that works. Or if you have colored paper, you want to use that. Those would be your options. For coloring today, this is one I colored earlier. I would suggest, I think it looks great if you have a Sharpie or something to trace with, and then maybe using a marker to color with. If you don't have markers, I think crayons will just be as bright, or colored pencils would be just as bright if you want to go in and color them really brightly. So go ahead and get your supplies and let's get started. Alright, so I went ahead and I glued this one down to the background so you can kind of see what it's going to look like finished. There's different variations. I've seen a lot that use the black outline and then put the color on the inside. I liked that, so I'm going to go with that. But if you don't have a marker, a black marker, you can just stick with coloring in your designs. I think that's going to look just fine as well. Like I said, it came to me that this, well, actually a student brought us up that why aren't we using the thicker paper? Let's use that thicker paper for the background if you went ahead and got some. And I really liked how this one turned out. I'm glad I had it left over from the hand assignment. So I can play with it and see which direction I like it. But I'm going to actually ultimately put this to the side while I color so I don't get any coloring on it. And since I have this black sheet of color paper, I'm going to actually leave that underneath because I don't want to draw on my table. So with that, I'm going to start tracing, and it's pretty straightforward. I think you guys will know exactly what to do, but you can just watch me for a little bit. I'm just going to take that black marker and I'm going to trace it. Now, if you don't have the marker, like I said, and you do have regular colored markers, I think it would look really nice if you just trace with regular color markers or just color it all in completely with color markers. Okay. The nice thing about Sharpies is that when you color on the inside, you're not going to get that smearing. So I would not suggest using a Crayola black marker to trace with, because what's going to happen is you'll trace it, then you'll go to color it in and it will smear all together and your green will turn into brown and you're not going to like the results. Okay, the other option you have is that you could go ahead and color it first and then trace it with black. So I'm giving you lots of options here, guys. So if all you have is a black Crayola marker and you really want that black outline, my suggestion would be to come over here, color this all in, and then use that black marker to trace around it at the end. Now I don't want to use this black because it looks a little bit different than that, but just so you have that option, whenever using a Crayola black marker, use it at the end because it tends to smear and make everything kind of run together. So you're going to go ahead and start coloring yours now. I'll keep coloring mine, and I will come back to you when it's done, and I will just show you how to assemble it. So why don't you go ahead, get your coloring materials out, start coloring it. Remember those tips that I just gave you about if you're going to use a black marker or not, and let's get coloring. last week when we were designing, I had a couple questions come up about symmetry. You know, Miss Van Alstyne, do they have to be the same on both sides when I design it? And that is a really nice look if you have it exactly the same. But on both of my designs, I thought about symmetry to a point, and then I liked to do just a little difference. So in this one I added a tier and I left the tier off on this side. Just that little change kind of makes it a little bit more interesting than having it exactly the same. So that was not a requirement for it to be the same on both sides. As long as you took some time and you really thought about your design should look like you've filled up a good portion of the skull. Of course you're supposed to have a lot of white, but if it's all empty down around here and you know there's just a lot of openness, it's probably not going to feel that finished. So you may want to rethink what spots you're leaving empty and add a few extra things. If you're looking at yours now thinking, man, I really should maybe put some more things, you can still do that. That's okay. Just go ahead and add it while you're drawing, coloring. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just making it more interesting. So if you're done early, this is something you may want to think about doing. It's just layering in another color, a similar color. If you chose a different color, it might turn it brown. So I'm using colors like dark green and light green together. I know that yellow, then orange, then red, then purple mix well. Roy G. Biv colors. Alright, so we're done. Now we're going to take it and we're going to glue it onto our background, figure out which way we like best. I think I like it this way. I like that purple. So I would use a glue stick. If you have white glue, be careful because it will wrinkle your paper, so you may want to print it or like paint it on, but you want a really thin layer of it. I'm just gonna go, I like this thick glue stick that I have. I'm just gonna go around the edges here to work quickly because it dries pretty fast. I'm like going around the eyes, nose. I'm just trying to make sure that it's gonna lay down all the way. Once I've got that, okay, we're good. I'm gonna put it in place. Oh, I really like how that turned out. That's really cool. Okay, I hope you're really happy with yours like I am. So there you go. We've got our sugar skull design. We are good, and I think that's it. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the whole process, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. And don't forget to show me your final one when you are done. Just bring it back to the Google Meet and show me what you've got, and then don't forget to submit it in Canvas, making sure that you have shared with me your assignment. Okay?